In this lesson, we are going to develop an understanding of the ways that geographers think about places and issues in order to answer the question, how can I use geography to understand my community? We will begin explaining geographic thinking using the following terms. We will develop a deeper understanding of these terms over the next few days as we examine and evaluate resources, draw conclusions, and take action on our learning. When we study geography, we are investigating places and the relationships between people and their environments. We are not only looking at our physical environment, but also the people that live in these spaces. We look at how an environment shapes the way people live and vice versa, as humans live and work and adapt to their spaces. We look at how the environment changes as a result of the people that occupy space every day. Geography seeks to answer these questions. Where are things found? Why are they there? How does it change and impact everything else over time? As we consider the ways we are going to explore those three basic geographic thinking questions, what is where, why there, why care, it is helpful to understand the themes that will come up frequently when we think about an event or an issue. There are 5 basic themes that will come up over and over again in our learning and discussions. Location, place, region, human interaction with the environment, and movement. Let's start with location. When we think about an event or an issue, we ask, where is it happening? Having an awareness of where things are happening will help us to have spatial awareness. In other words, we will have an awareness of the world we live in. For example, when you look at a globe or map, you will notice lines of latitude and longitude. Geographers, pilots, and anyone who needs to travel or access a location with complete precision uses latitude and longitude to identify an event or landmark. GPS, or global positioning systems in your car or phone, work by locating the coordinates of a place using satellite tracking. If I were to ask you where your exact location is right now, how would you answer the question? With an address? With a point on a map? With latitude and longitudinal coordinates? We call that absolute location. Now, what if I asked you to describe the relative location? How would you help me to get an idea of where you are by identifying other places that I'm familiar with? For example, I'm at St. Charles East High School. My absolute location is 1020 Denham Road, St. Charles, Illinois. The GPS coordinates are 41 degrees, 54 minutes, and 48.1248 seconds north latitude, and 88 degrees, 18 minutes, and 56.0412 seconds west longitude. Now, for someone who lives in Wisconsin wanting to know where I am, I could give them that absolute location. But it might be helpful for them to get my relative location so they can develop a sense of spatial awareness of my location. Spatial awareness is how we perceive location as it relates to other places we are familiar with. I would tell my Wisconsin friend, I am located about 45 minutes west of Chicago near the Fox River. Hopefully that gives them a sense of spatial awareness so they can picture where St. Charles East is located. When we describe our relative location, we will frequently identify physical and human characteristics like landforms and the way people live to get an idea of what is where. When I described where St. Charles East is located, I mentioned the Fox River. We refer to this theme as place because we are describing characteristics. I might go on to describe our place by describing the climate and weather, natural vegetation, any other major landforms that exist here, and cultural characteristics. We will explore climate, weather, vegetation, landforms, and cultural landscape as we develop a sense of place over the next few days. Region is another theme of geography that we will discuss as we ask what is where. The cool thing about geographers is that they are organized. They can organize places into groups based on their characteristics. The fun thing about this is that they can group them according to physical geographic landscapes, like landforms, climate and weather, natural resources, or vegetation, or they can group them according to human geographical characteristics like religion, language, and other cultural practices. I can identify the region where I am currently located in many ways. I can say I'm in North America. I can say I'm in the greater Chicagoland area. I can say I'm in Northern Illinois. I can say I'm in the Fox Valley region, which is a group of places that have similar landforms, weather and climate, vegetation, natural resources, languages, and cultural practices. Here are the major regions of the world that geographers have identified. Notice the source of this map is the World Bank. Humans are just about everywhere, and they take up space in the environment, working, playing, consuming, and always interacting with their environment, and vice versa. The way they live is shaped by the environment they live in, and the environment responds to their interaction. In the Fox Valley region, people live in communities that are relatively close together. While there are some farms, most people are not farmers. Most of us live and work in the service industry. We consume food that is farmed by others, often in other regions, and brought to us through transportation, then sold in large businesses. Our environment responds to this as well. When we think about how Route 64 might have looked 30 years ago and how it looks today. This year, we are going to learn how the human element can help us to answer the questions, what is where, why there, and why care. People and goods are always moving. In your Schoology profiles, some of you mentioned that you lived in another town or state at one point. What was it that pushed you to move to St. Charles? Schools? Jobs? What was it that pulled you to move to St. Charles? Schools? Jobs? The general beauty of the area? When we talk about our place and region, we mention how we got our food. We generally do not grow all of our food right here. It's grown in another place, processed or packaged somewhere else, and then brought to a store that we have to get to. All of this is movement and requires transportation. Think about what is needed to make sure all of this movement happens so we are fed. We will explore movement of both people and goods throughout this course.